So if you are in USDA zones 9 through 11, our tasks are a little bit different. So this time of year in September in the warmer climate zones, there's a transition happening where it's peak food forest season and the food forest is really producing. We're getting avocados, we're getting some mangoes. The tropical cherries are producing. I had a lot of Barbados cherries this week. Some of the tropical mulberries are getting ready for another round, jabuticaba. So many good things are happening in the food forest, but here's the transition. Annual vegetable season is now here. So you've hopefully have, got those raised beds ready. If you haven't, you better get on it. But this is our transition month. So we're going from primarily food forest over the summer into annual vegetable gardening through the winter months. That was a huge change for me. When I moved from Kansas City to Florida, my first year, I planted a spring garden in Florida. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. Pretty much the only thing that grows in the summer months in Florida is like okra. You know what I mean? Like just very, very few things. So nobody told me when I moved here that the major difference is instead of starting our annual vegetables in the spring, we start in September and we go all the way through May. And by May, we're done. Food forest season starts. So it's a pretty big transition month for a lot of people in these warmer climate zones. So if you're in USDA zones 9 through 11, here's the 3 things I'd be thinking about this month, besides taking a sip of my coffee. So good. So the first thing is September is fall soil amending. So in most of USDA zones 9 through 11, we amend our soils end of February, June, and September. So September, this is our fall fertilization, our soil amending window. Now, if it's fruit trees and berry bushes, at the very least, just get a good whole ingredient, like a poultry-based fertilizer. I really like Espoma. Tree tone or plant tone are really good. They're just nice whole ingredient. If you're wanting to kind of mix your own or go like ingredient by ingredient, I would be doing azomite this month because it's high minerals and silica. I'd be doing kelp because kelp and seaweed help the uptake of minerals. Technically, kelp doesn't do much fertilizing on its own, but it helps bring up the minerals into the plant. I'd be doing rock dust, again, minerals, and Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate. So those are all going to help prepare those fruit trees to begin going dormant and help send out new roots going into winter, which means if you fertilize and amend your soil in September, it's not like you're increasing your fruit production right now. The purpose of that fall fertilizing is to get the root system spreading and ready so you have a much stronger springtime. So especially on those peaches, pear, plum, nectarines, loquats, fertilizing and amending now, especially with things like azomite and Epsom salts and rock dust, that's really going to increase your chances of a solid spring harvest. So the second thing I'd be thinking of right now, this is your last chance, USDA zones 9 through 11, last chance to plant cold sensitive trees. So September is the last smart time to be doing avocados, mango, strawberry tree, Barbados cherry, a lot of those super tropical things need to go in the ground now. Can you do it in October, November? You can. It ain't smart. You're going to be really risking them not being rooted in enough. You're going to have to be protecting them, tenting them, lighting campfires. So this is your last month. So if you don't have a plan for it, get a plan for those avocado trees. Get a plan for those mango trees. I'd love to help you with that, especially if you're here in Florida. And I also do virtual consultations. I do them all over the world. So if you're in Norway or Korea or Michigan, whatever, we can figure out you ain't going to be doing avocados in Michigan. We can really get a plan for those things now. So the third thing that I'd be thinking of, especially September right now, is fall vegetable season, like I mentioned. So last chance to get your beds reset. If you do nothing else, apply 1 to 2 inches of compost. If you do nothing else, if you don't turn the beds, if you don't mix the soil, if you're not amending and adding in blood meal into your annual vegetables, at least add 1 to 2 inches of compost on top. That's at the very, very, very least. If you want a really good deep dive into it, we just did a class this last week on how to reset a raised bed in Patreon. So it's a good 35 minute, deep dive into how to reset a raised bed, where I take you through the full process, very beginning until end. So along that same lines, this is the time to start seeds in trays. So you're doing tomatoes, you're doing eggplants, you're doing peppers. All those nightshades, if you didn't start them the last week of August, you can start those in trays now. So start seeds and reset those raised beds. So again, USDA zones 9 through 11, fall soil amending, last chance to plant those cold sensitive trees like avocados and mangoes. And number 3, as this is fall vegetable season, it has finally arrived.